You guys, I am hobbled away in the guest room. You probably haven't seen this view before, but there's a day bed in here. I'll show it to you. I wanted to get some reading done, so I had to sneak out of the bed to get past the baby. Because as you know, the baby sleeps in our room in his little baby crib. Although there's evidence of the baby here. Look at these little sleepers and things that I have to fold up and get ready for his dad, who will be picking him up. I do believe he flies in tomorrow. I can't believe that he's leaving us and going with his parents. I can't, but I can because it's time. But I'm gonna miss him so much. And I'm also going to get back on my job and start creating more again too though. So it's a catch-22 because I miss being able to be really creative. And I also miss like being able to go and sit in a coffee shop for hours and working without worrying about a baby. So I am thoroughly having flashbacks of what it was like when my kids were little. And not a whole lot of creativity, this type of creativity that I'm doing now, definitely because the internet really wasn't a thing. But I didn't get to do a whole lot of reading. In fact, that's kind of one of the things that fell by the wayside after I had kids. I did not read nearly as much as I did when I was younger, because literally, if you saw me, you saw a book. If you saw a book, you saw me. Like, that was my life. Anyway, I hope you can hear this. I can't really yell or talk loud, and I probably should get one of those little mics. I have one, but it's corded. Should probably get a cordless mic. Maybe that's something I should have asked for Christmas. I don't know, but that will make making these videos easier, because I think that once baby boy is back home with his parents and hubby is back into his work routine, this will be a good place to come to film. My daughter films in here too, and so this will just be a good quiet place to come. My hubby and my daughter share an office downstairs, and you know, when they're in there, sometimes they're in there together, sometimes they're not. My daughter has her own room and she can close her door. And of course we have our bedroom, but I don't necessarily want to work in my bedroom. Like, that is something I don't want to do going into the new year. Just little things to consider going forward. Once I have just really myself to think about, just us, just adults, people who can kind of make decisions for themselves, it'll be a little bit easier to get into some sort of routine. And I really did try to get into a routine this past year. Okay, if I'm being honest, I didn't really try that hard, but I tried, and it didn't quite work out. And I think part of the reason why was because shortly after I decided to get into a routine, especially a morning routine, we moved, and that kind of, you know, changed everything. Moving changed that. So I want to get back into a routine, and going forth for the year, there are some things that I would like to do here, because then you guys can hold me accountable. Or we can hold each other accountable. But I've been reading. I am now on chapter 5 of this book. It has been a slow read, and I'm actually okay with that. I'm not a speed reader. I'm not someone who wants to just read books for the sake of reading books. I really do get lost in the stories, and I really do learn a lot from what I read, and I really do try to see the person's perspective. Obviously, one of the reasons why I haven't read as much of this book as I probably should have or could have is because of the baby being here, and also because my house is still not really organized as I would like it either. So my time is divided, and it's holiday time, so I'm decorating, and I haven't really gotten to like really get into this like I want to. But I will say about this book is I'm gonna try to read a lot today. I'm gonna try, no guarantees. But I'm sure this book will drag on into the new year. But what I will say about this book, I'm on chapter 5. First of all, there's a lovely section, and I'm gonna show this to you here, at the end of chapter 4, where Abi is talking about who her husband was before his illness, because right now, you know, he's not able to communicate. Again, I don't think I'm giving anything away. He's not able to communicate. He's in intensive care. And I love this. I love when authors do things like this. Let's see if it'll focus. I love it when authors do things like that. Like, if I were to write a book, I would probably write it in a few different ways. I wouldn't just write just the words, just paragraph after paragraph. I would probably do bullet statements. I would probably do lists. I would probably do little illustrations. Like, a book that I would write would probably be part graphic novel, just part beautiful book as far as including artwork and pictures. So part illustrated book, part list, like lists that I've made, because I love making lists, and that's something that I am going to do more going into the new year. I'm going to start back doing. I used to do it all the time. I used to be an avid follower of the Reset Girl and the whole Lister's Got a List. Like, I feel like that's lost, and I feel like my life was a lot more organized when I made my list. Because, you can write a journal entry and it could just be lists of thoughts that pop into your head. So one of the reasons why I stopped doing handwritten lists is because I had a tumor in my hand that I had removed. You can kind of see the scar there, I think. Let's see if it'll focus. Yeah, you can kind of see the scar, but there was a long scar. And I've told the story before, but on my other channel. But yeah, I had a huge, it was about the size of a large egg in my hand. And so writing, painting, which is why I don't paint, or have not been painting, which is why I have not been painting. Doing those things was very painful, and I had to kind of rehab my hand, but now I can write again and paint again. And so I want to get back into doing the lists. And this is just beautiful. I'm going to just read a little bit. I'm just going to read a little bit from the list here that she made. And she says, he was shooting a film the week he collapsed, and a TV thing the week before that. Oh, by the way, if I hadn't mentioned, Abby's husband is an actor, but I think I did mention that in another video. Anyway, he loves old-fashioned cocktails and The West Wing and Tom Lehrer songs and over-expensive hoodies from Good Hood and lying in the hammock and football, of course, soccer. He loved his beloved Spurs. He can always find the best restaurants, pull you along on the best adventures, and pastrami and mortadella and breeziola and salt beef. In fact, he loves all meat, bar liver. He hates liver of any kind. I don't like liver either. And he speaks Italian brilliantly, fluently, even though he says he can't. And then she goes on to list other things. And he likes opera, not really opera, but the stuff he knows, and musicals. He loves musicals and can sing Sondheim badly and beautifully. And a version of I Won't Send Roses That Makes You Cry from Mac and Mabel. And that's why we called our daughter Mabel, because we both love the music, love the songs, love the name. He loves De La Soul. He's definitely dating himself. And NWA, definitely dating himself. And he could be annoying and irritating and unconfident and stubborn, but mostly he's kind and he listens. And she goes on. And I just love the way that she describes him in a list. I just find that I don't know, it does something for me. One, it's just easy to read, so that's, number one. But two, it gives you actual visuals. Like, I can visualize him singing. I can visualize him, I know, NWA, I know De La Soul, She goes on to say that he could dance, but not the moonwalky type stupid dance that she does, which is funny. So it's funny, but it's also like an insight into a person's personality and how we're more than just what you see. We are so many more things. And I don't know, for some reason, that just resonates with me. Another thing I will say about this book as I go, I'm like halfway through chapter 5, I do believe. Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle of chapter 5. And she kind of goes back and forth between like how the family's dealing with the illness and then how, what is happening in the hospital. So We're still getting that. As I approach page 100, I kind of feel like the general sense of this book is that I'm still waiting for something to happen. And because it's a real life book, I don't necessarily want anything more to happen to this family, but at the same time, I think I will be disappointed if like something major didn't happen. I know that sounds horrible. I don't want anything bad to happen to them, obviously, but I just still feel like something else is gonna happen. And I'm thinking like, this is pretty bad. And if this is as bad as it is, I don't want to see anything else bad happen to them. So I kind of don't like that foreboding feeling that I have that like, this is not the worst of things. And so that's where I am now with This Is Not a Pity Memoir by Abi Morgan. As I sit here with my hair really shut out, I'm gonna wash it today. And no makeup on, coming barefaced and bare-souled to you guys about this book as I steal away time away from my family. I saw an Instagram meme today that said, Christmas time is great because you can yell, don't come in here, and they think you're wrapping Christmas gifts when you're really just trying to get away. And I love my family, like, obsessively. I do. And I love the individual amount of time that I spend with them. But I also love being by myself and sometimes just reading a book and not having to entertain people or answer questions or do things for people. So, and that is a very soft privilege to have when you can get it. I think that is probably the softest thing you can do for yourself, is to take time for yourself, to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's work or not. Because sometimes people love their work. When I'm making my videos and things are going well, I love my work. So, and sometimes I just want to do that by myself. Okay. I'm going to read some more and try to get through this. Like, I am dragging this out a little longer, and I know that it's not all my fault, but at some point you just got to read the book. So that's what I'm gonna do. Look at this light, y'all. I don't think this light was doing this the whole time that I was filming, but now it's like right on me. So much of making videos and photography is about lighting. I mean, photography is literally painting with light. And oh my God, when the light is beautiful like this, you just have to take a moment. I should be photographing something, or I guess technically I am videoing something. But yeah, I appreciate this so much, and I just kind of wanted to share it with you guys. In this fleeting moment, because now it's gone, so that you could appreciate it too. There's a little bit here, but that was nice.
It's kind of the past, like yesterday and everything, going and seeing all my loved ones and saying bye, and yeah. So I've been watching this lovely young YouTuber, Tiffany, from Tiffany Thinks. She is the same age as my daughter, and tomorrow for her, she will be having surgery for a very rare form of cancer that she has. And it's possible that she may actually have to lose some of her organs. The tumor is in a very precarious place, in a sensitive area around her reproductive organs. So she's facing a very harrowing surgery. And I just want to send out the message. If you have not watched her, check out her channel, but also please send just prayers and love and good vibes to her. Her catchphrase is, "We got this." And Tiffany, we got this. You're going to be fine. At least that's my prayer. I'm just going to think only positive thoughts. And I hope that my subscribers and the people who watch this video will do the same. My cushion arrived for my window seat from Amazon. So let's see
how it looks. It's a little short for the bench, but with the addition of some more pillows, I think it's going to be very nice. For the time being, I'll just stick this one here just to see what it looks like. I think that's very nice. So yeah, this is how things are looking so far. I'm gonna read a little bit more and I will come back and revisit this later. And now here's a bit of a spoiler alert because I'm going to talk about the book. And I might be giving something away, so if you plan on reading this book, you might want to skip this next part. By mid to late February, Mr. Krzyzewski was noted to experience visual hallucinations and fixed illusions regarding his partner. While he has insight into the disturbing hallucinations, he does not waver in his belief that his partner is an imposter. Oh, always trust that feeling in the pit of your stomach. I just knew that she was building up to something. So Abby's husband has pulled through this, but he doesn't recognize her. He doesn't know who she is. Oh my God. So I just had to put the book down for a second and get back to my meditation/reading space. I typically try not to center myself in stories that I read because it's not my story. I just typically like to just accept whatever the author is trying to tell me. But that's hard to do when you have a spouse and you know how you would react if your spouse didn't recognize you anymore. I'd be especially upset because we've been together 34 years total. And that's a lot of good, bad, and indifferent for someone to forget. I don't know. That one just got to me. Sometimes things hit on a personal level and someone else might read that and have no reaction at all. But for me, that was a big one. I think this space is coming along rather nicely. I'm going to take that artwork and put it up on the wall. Ironically, that particular print says, "You got this," which now every time I look at it, it will remind me to think about and pray for Tiffany. This is the view of the window seat from the room vantage point, I guess, from if you're looking at the window seat, this is the view. I like it. It's actually comfortable. I didn't think it would be, but it actually is. This little chest of drawers was meant to go in the guest room, but it turned out that it was just a little short. So it ended up here instead. And there's that little munchkin. He woke up and he definitely wants my time. So I'll probably pick up the reading a little bit later, and I'll end this vlog here. So as always, I will love you and leave you, and I will see you in the next one.